Yo, what's up? Before we get started, I would like to thank everyone for 200,000 subscribers. This is, yeah, fuck. This is a huge number. Thank you so much for helping me reach this. Just over 8 months ago, I was celebrating reaching 100,000 subscribers, and I thought it was amazing that in less than a year, I was able to double that number. I'm also planning on doing a Q&A soon, so go ahead and ask your questions in the comment section below. Remember to start it with, "Hey homie." On top of that, I was also supposed to do a Q&A when I reached 150,000 subscribers, and I didn't do that. I'll be including those questions in that video as well. I'm making a different type of video today. Just a little backstory, 2 weeks ago, I went to KatsuCon in Maryland, partied my ass off, and spent all of last week just recovering from being sick. I had a few video ideas that I wanted to do, but my throat's been killing me, and I want to recover for a little bit before I start rapping again. In the meanwhile, I'll be deconstructing a trap beat I made using only the sounds built into FL Studio. That means I'm not using any third-party plugins or drum kits. I'm only using what's given in FL Studio. I've actually wanted to make this video for a while now, and I've made a similar one in the past, but the overall idea that I'm trying to present here is that limitations can lead to creative outlets. I've seen so many producers talk about how they need the newest plugins or they need the newest drum kits to elevate their production, which is true to a degree, but I feel that working within certain limitations can sometimes help your creativity. Remember guys, it is not about the gear, it is about the ear.
You don't need a big old studio to do what you need to do. You can do this on your own if you have your computer and your mic.
I used Fruity LSD by routing it to a MIDI out channel. I've actually never used Fruity LSD before, but I saw Dylan Tallchief talk about it in a video, and I decided to try it out. It's actually got a lot of really cool retro sounds in it. I used the
music box
preset and played this chord progression with a melody on top. I layered the same melody with a Guitar Chords 3 preset in Sakura. But yo, like Praxi though, like on job, bro. Like I only got the demo version of Sakura, so like I can't save presets and the sound cuts off every few minutes. Know what I mean? Like, yeah, me too. So I just recorded the pattern in Edison and sent it to the playlist as a WAV file. After that, I put it in Fruity Slicer and pitched it up 400 cents. I also changed the attack so it sounds kind of like a sidechain. Here's what it sounds like. I also duplicated the sample, lowered it an octave, and played it in reverse. This way I could use it kind of like a counter melody. I actually got this idea from Chew Beats in one of his videos on how he made one of his beats. If you don't know who Chew Beats is, he is fantastic. Go check him out. I also had to change the arrangement of the reverse sample. You see, if I were to play it as it was, the sample would be playing the chords at different times. So I chopped the melody literally in half and then played the second half first. I didn't even use that many effects on the melodies either. I only used an EQ, reverb, and delay. I knew exactly what plugin I wanted to use to make the bass, but it wasn't available in my version of FL Studio. And since I'm way too stubborn to actually make a project in FL20, I just loaded up an empty version of GMS and then made the bass in that and exported it into my main project. I made the sound in GMS starting off with the default preset, upped the voices to about 8, put it to stereo about 80%, detuned it about 30%, and lowered it to octaves. I also added some white noise and changed the cutoff with a low pass filter to give it that kind of like Drake bass type of sound. Here's what it sounds like. I also made an 808-ish type of bass in Citrus. Pulled the attack and release all the way to the left and moved the decay to the right just a smidge, and I left the sustain relatively in the middle. I also changed the shape of the sine wave just a little bit to give it a little more buzz, so now it kind of resembles an 808. I'm also playing this really low on the piano roll, so just keep that in mind. And finally, I beefed up the bass with Soundgoodizer and distortion and then low passed it. All of the drums have been pulled from the packs folder in the Fruity browser, mostly from the vintage hip hop FPC and drum kit number 7. I changed a few of the properties of the drums just to make them a little more interesting. For example, I turned the hi-hat into more of a shaker sound by changing the attack. And I made the open hat end quicker instead of riding out. And I also pitched it down 200 cents. As far as the percussion goes, the one that was the hardest to manipulate was definitely the kick. I wanted to make it a little more punchy, so I shortened it and then compressed it to hell and back. I also added a low-pass filter to clean up the sound. I also added some other sound effects like this reverse cymbal and this cool hit sound. And that's pretty much the whole beat. Here's what it sounds like.